A total of 20 people will be standing trial from this coming Wednesday, suspected of playing a part in the worst bloodshed seen in France since the Second World War. On a Friday night in November 2015, teams of jihadist gunmen and suicide bombers left 130 people dead at bars and restaurants, a music venue, and outside a football match. Well, for more ahead of this landmark trial, we can speak now to Dantinne. He's a professor in criminology at the ULG, that's the University of Liege in Belgium. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. Now, this is likely to be a trial that will dominate the headlines here in France for several months to come, and it's one that will clearly be an important milestone for the victims and, of course, their families.
That's true. It is an important step. This trial is really an important step for the victims, those who have been wounded, injured, and those who have lost one of the member of their families. This is very important. But, well, we must keep in mind that it is only a step in the recovery process of those victims, and also that it hasn't any magical effect. It's not going. This trial is not going to clear all what had happened, all their suffering, etc. And those victims mustn't have too big expectations about this process, because everything will depend also on the attitude, the behavior of the accused. What are they going to say? This is very important for them also.
Now, how, in your view, do you think the defence will be making its case?
Well, what we have learned from our former experiences, and especially in the trial that happened in Brussels last year about the terrorist attack in the Jewish Museum in Brussels, is that, well, it's quite impossible to try to say before the opening of the trial how they are going to behave, the accused. But, well, some of them are certainly going to try to minimize their role in order to avoid a too hard sentence. And maybe those who are really at the heart of the attacks, I mean Salah Abdeslam, is going to remain silent, or maybe is going to use this trial as a tool of propaganda in order to make that he's perceived by a very small community as a hero, and he maybe is going to be tempted to use this trial as a tool of propaganda. That's possible, but we don't know at this stage how things are going to happen.
Now, when the gavel finally falls, which is likely to be in May next year, what will the outcome, the verdict, mean for France, French society and the French justice system?
It means that it has happened. The trial is going to be recorded in order to use it in the schools, etc. It means at the end that things have happened. We mustn't forget what has happened in France in November 2015. And also, it is a way to say to all those who are in a radicalization process that in a country like France, there is only one law, the law of the democratic society, the law of the humans. And nobody can feel he or she is above this law. And the law of Allah is nothing. There is also a very important symbolic effect and goal of this trial. It's this, because you must keep in mind that in each terrorist attack, there is a kind of will to do justice in the terrorist minds. The justice is the one that is going to start tomorrow at Paris.
Now, very briefly, it's nearly 6 years since these attacks took place. What progress has France and its neighbours in Europe made in countering terrorism?
Certainly, we work better today than before, because in all those countries, it is the case in France or in Belgium, we have learned a lot about what happened, the things we could have done better. We are still, nevertheless, still facing the same problems. We do not have any European police or justice or information services, and there is still a problem of information sharing. And we also know that the zero risk does not exist, in fact. And then just take the case of what has happened in Auckland, in New Zealand, this Saturday. A man who was followed 20 hours on 24 hours has committed an attack. So this demonstrates that it's very hard, that we work better in the security services than before what happened in Paris.
Okay, Michael Dantinne from the University of Liege, thank you very much for joining us here on France
You're
24.
welcome.